Let's talk about this Celtics Sixers series. Sixers were a cute story. They were. They really were. They made it 7 games. It really was never in doubt. They had the potential to send the Boston Celtics home in 6. They had 4 minutes where all of a sudden they allowed Jason Tatum to go nuclear, and it pretty much was a wrap ever since, right? Like even the most diehard Philly fan, if you're honest with yourself. If you're a diehard Philly fan, you're probably not even listening because you probably hate my guts. But were you confident heading into Game 7? Like, were you? Were you even, like, having a modicum of, excitement about going in to TD Garden on that parquet floor and thinking you were going to beat Jason Tatum, who had just come alive and found his mojo again, like he was Angela Bassett and Stella got her groove back? Like, no. If you say yes, you're a liar. You are. History, of course, was against you. Doc Rivers' record in Game 7s, they speak for themselves. I don't think he's won a Game 7 in his career as a head coach, which is crazy. Momentum was against you. You know what else? The universe seemed to be against you because you had not one but 2 superstars, both together, have had well-documented playoff struggles. Maybe not put those 2 guys together, right? Like maybe you want to balance it out. How could you possibly have thought that this was going to go any other way than the way that it did? Insanity, what do they say? Insanity is doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result. It is Doc Rivers coughing up leads in the playoffs. It is James Harden underperforming in the playoffs. It is Joel Embiid being injured over and over in the playoffs. Wash, rinse, dry, repeat. Wash, rinse, dry. That's them. That's them. We keep trying to say, oh, maybe 2023 will be different. Maybe 2024 will be different. Maybe 2025 will be different. At a certain point, we just got to accept reality. Move on. This version of the Sixers is not working. And what's wild is that the Sacramento Kings, a team that's been regarded as a poverty franchise for many years now, a team that has been, shit on by the national media, a team that really has just been like the laughingstock of the league until this year. Like, they have been to the conference finals more recently than the Philadelphia 76ers. I don't mean that it is sad in a trolling way. I mean it, and it is a very sad thing that a guy like Joel Embiid, who has not been to anywhere close to the place that the Sacramento Kings have been in, and that's saying something. Like, I don't know how this team stays together, honestly, moving forward. The process, I've said it once, I've said it twice, I've said it 3 times. The process is dead. The process has been dead. We're trying to put it back together like Operation, and it's just not working. We're trying to revive it with those 2 little paddles with the electrical current on them. It's dead. It's dead. 51 points by Tatum in the Game 7 rout, a destruction, an embarrassment, or as Embiid and Giannis both like to say, steps to success. How bad is it? How bad is it right now? It is so bad that you have Ben Simmons on his Instagram from his living room with a glass of red wine, taking a photo of the Sixers getting blown out by the Celtics by 30 and just posting it, no context. Just like, yeah, like they are just enjoying it. You know what I mean? That red wine, a beautiful living room, and a photo of the TV of the Sixers getting destroyed in a Game 7. Yeah, that's how bad it is. He is loving that. And that is the sad truth that Philly fans woke up to today. No more excuses. You don't have any other scapegoat left. Not even Ben Simmons can wash away the stink of this epic failure of a team. It is their 3rd straight loss in the conference semis. You got Joel Embiid, the MVP. It is the year for him to show out. The stats in this series, 22 points, 9 rebounds, and 2 assists. That's disgusting. That is garbage. Efficiency numbers, also terrible. 42% from the floor. He shot 20% from 3, getting absolutely locked up by a man who has his AARP card in Al Horford. Al Horford on Joel Embiid. Remember when PJ Tucker said no one on the planet can stop Joel Embiid when he's aggressive? Turns out 40-year-old Al Horford can stop Joel Embiid. Harden, roller coaster ride. Had a couple of insane vintage performances, which we've already talked about, but overall during the series, he's averaged 22 points per game, 42% from the floor, and 34% from three. And if you want to talk about comparisons to Ben Simmons, in the last 3 games of this series, Harden had no points in the fourth quarter in all of those 3 games combined. None. 0. Zilch. He went 0 for 6 in the fourth quarter of games 7, 6, and 5. In fact, Ben Simmons had more points than James Harden in fourth quarter in that Hawks series where he basically ended his career right then and there. 5 points, all free throws. And so now where are we at? The rumors are that James Harden is itching to get back to Houston. He has a house there. He's there in every off day. He's got a restaurant there. Beautiful, very luscious, one of those foie gras wrapped steak lobster deals, that kind of a deal. There's a lot of strip clubs there. I'm sure he loves. He loves Houston. Now Ime Udoka is there. Another rumor is also floating around that Harden may be going to Phoenix. You know where the rumors are not? That he's coming back to Philadelphia. Like, I don't hear any rumors of Harden excited to return back with Daryl Morey and Doc Rivers. Harden was asked after the game in a scrum, hey, what's your relationship like with Doc? And what did Harden say? Did he praise? Oh, I love Doc. We've got a strong relationship. So good. He said, it's okay. And just left it at that. Does that inspire confidence? Is that a ringing endorsement for Doc? No. What did Doc say about James? He said, I think overall he enjoyed being here. When you got to add an overall to it, that means there were some places he did not enjoy it. He said, it's tough for him. We asked him to play a little different than he's always been accustomed to. I think it made us a better team. But unfortunately, I thought for James at times, it wasn't always best for him. But he still did it. And we appreciate that as a coach. You know who didn't appreciate it? Probably James Harden. He probably didn't appreciate it at all. Back to what I said before. No excuses. You don't lose because Harden went to Brickville in the fourth quarter. You didn't lose because Embiid settled for mid-range jumpers instead of attacking the rim. You didn't lose because Embiid was hurt for yet another playoff series. The Sixers didn't lose because Doc Rivers continued to freeze in a big moment. The Sixers lost because of all of these things combined. There's not one person or one thing to point the finger at. They lost because this team was never as good as anyone thought that they were, and that goes all the way from Daryl Morey down to Doc Rivers, to players like Embiid, to Harden, to role players who are overpaid like Tobias Harris and George Yang and Tyrese Maxey and PJ Tucker, and all of them, and everyone, all of them. The question is not how to tweak this roster and fix it. The structure is broken. I think we now know major changes need to happen in order for them to figure out a path forward over and above where they've continuously been and hit their ceiling on. The glass ceiling is obviously there. They can't get to the conference finals. So how do you do that? Who do you keep? How do you build a team around them? Because 10 years in the process has told you that this team is no better than a second-round exit. So that's, if you aspire to more, you need to change it. You've got to make radical changes that this franchise has avoided for a decade. What does that mean? If you're honest, who's the major trade piece that you have and you can get a lot for? Well, Harden's a free agent, so it's not him. Tobias Harris is overpaid, so it's not him. Tyrese Maxey's very young and very cheap, so you could probably get something back for him. But if we're really honest, the only real trade chip that this team has is Joel Embiid. That is a tough pill to swallow. And do you trust Joel Embiid to be healthy enough to build a winning team around him? The answer is maybe not. He's one of the best players in the NBA. But if you look at his numbers, he's missed on average 23 regular season games per year during his career. That is not counting the full 2 seasons that he missed with his foot injury. When you miss 30% of the regular season every year, you can just book that. You can just pen it in. Not even pencil. You can just pen that in. And that's not even the full story. Like, when Joel Embiid's not missing 30% of a regular season, he's also nursing injuries from missing multiple games in the regular season. So given that he's almost 30, he's had numerous health issues. Is there a greater or lesser chance that he's going to miss more or less time in the future? Probably more. And then second, given the health concerns, do you think you can build a championship team around him? The answer is probably no. If you can't answer yes to both of those or either of those, then the sad and painful truth is you probably have to move on from Joel Embiid. I love Embiid. I think he's one of the most dominant players in the NBA. I think he could be a really great pairing for another player like, I don't know, Damian Lillard. That's just me, a very unbiased fan's take. But in what postseason has Joel Embiid ever been healthy? Can you recall one? I'll answer for you. Never. Literally never. When he got drafted, multiple years he missed. Remember, just like total seasons. 2018, his first playoffs, fractured orbital bone. 2019 playoffs, knee injury. 2020, ankle injury. 2021, torn meniscus. This is all playoffs. 2022, as you remember, fractured orbital bone. This year, 2023 playoffs, sprained LCL. That is literally insane. So, if he's your all-NBA guy and you can't rely on him, is he the star of a championship team, or is he a really, 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 really good role player who can drop 40 at any time? Now with the rumors that James Harden is on his way to Houston, Doc Rivers might have coached his last game in Philly, this team is at a crossroads. It will be very fascinating to see which direction they go next.